Newsweek, 25th of July 2023 : Special, Axis Power. The red zone in the United States is affected by Chinese influence. According to Army General Laura Richardson, head of the U.S. Southern Command, China is intensifying attempts to build a regional presence in the red zone on the American border. In addition, Richardson noted that Beijing's activities have intensified right under our nose in the Caribbean, Central America, and South America. At the same time, considerable emphasis is being focused to the intensifying U.S. China rivalry in the Asia-Pacific area. The SOUTHCOM commander compared the scenario to that in Asia, where the Indo-Pacific Command, INDOPACOM, is entrusted with building up defenses using an island strategy created during the Cold War, saying that they are on the 20-yard line, in the red zone near our nation. I could claim that they are on the first island chain, similar to how they are in INDOPACOM, with what appear to be the diplomatic, informational, military, and economic tools of national power used by the People's Republic of China. However, a representative for the Chinese embassy claimed that collaboration in the area was for both parties' mutual advantage and not as part of any larger strategic plan. In line with a declared official objective of reaching global preeminence by 2049, China's worldwide presence has swiftly increased through influence building, technology acquisition, and the creation of infrastructure that might both boost China's commercial position and serve potential military uses. Washington accused China of establishing a spy base in Cuba last month. Beijing and Havana denied this. Richardson paid particular attention to the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, a global network of infrastructure projects that more than half of the 31 countries in the SOUTHCOM area of operations have endorsed. Chinese President Xi Jinping launched it. Given the scope of the BRI, she claimed that the United States was up against a deluge of Chinese state-sponsored bids to invest in much-needed infrastructure throughout the area, including telecommunications, deepwater ports, and even metro systems. Now, Richardson, who in October 2021 became only the third woman in history to manage a combatant command and the second woman ever appointed to the rank of Army General, said her goal was to show the region what Team USA is capable of. "We belong to the Americas and this hemisphere." Richardson added that it is of the utmost importance for all of us. Team USA is quite strong. All of the national powers' instruments must be combined to be displayed. We have to work harder at it. She continued, "Our partners prefer to partner with us before they prefer to partner with anyone else. We have to be there at the appropriate time and location." China vs. Chip War. With the 2023 launch of UNITAS, the world's longest-running multinational maritime exercise, SOUTHCOM took advantage of this chance this month. The most recent set of drills, which ended on Friday, included roughly 20 partner nations, 26 warships and vessels, 3 submarines, 25 aircraft, and over 7,000 soldiers. However, there was more going on throughout UNITAS than just military activity. Last week, Richardson and Secretary of Commerce Gina Raimondo came to Panama to promote collaboration on semiconductor manufacturing. This visit was part of President Joe Biden's broader initiative to strengthen the supply chain as a so-called chip war with China heats up across the globe. The U.S. attempts to thwart Chinese progress in the telecommunications sector, where China has established multinational alliances to deliver 5G networks through firms like Huawei. However, the United States has long expressed concern about the security of networks connected to China, claiming that there may be backdoors that leak confidential information to the Chinese government and the CCP, which is in power. According to Richardson, the proliferation of such 5G transactions in the SOUTHCOM zone could be a significant obstacle to the relationships that are the foundation of the U.S. staying power outside its boundaries. According to Richardson, the PRC will give a discounted or almost free upgrade to 5G if you currently have a 3G or 4G network, and they will then undoubtedly seek to take over the public network. but then we won't be able to collaborate in terms of sharing information and some of the digital and electronic operations," the speaker continued. Therefore, she continued that we must have better options, particularly Western ones. Because we want our partners to have alternatives besides the communist nation offering virtually free upgrades to the 5G infrastructure, the statement continues. Richardson emphasized the potential threat and linked it to a pattern of actions that the U.S. has associated with China. She added that if you choose a corporation that is run by a communist government that doesn't respect the rights of its citizens, they won't most likely respect those of yours either. And the backdoors into the government networks become a challenge. Both parties stand to gain. When contacted for comment, Liu Pengqiu, a spokesperson for the Chinese embassy in the United States, defended Beijing's strategy in the area. According to Liu, the region has reaped substantial benefits from China-Latin America collaboration, which is based on mutual respect, guided by mutual benefit and win-win, defined by openness and inclusivity, and intended to promote shared development. He continued that China does not intend to establish a sphere of influence in Latin America, has no geopolitical objectives, and is not involved in the so-called strategic game. The partnership between China and Latin America meets the needs of both parties and is neither directed at nor influenced by any third party. He reiterated that all Latin American countries are sovereign and independent countries. He said that Chinese officials are happy to see Latin American countries develop relations with other countries and respect the close ties formed in the history of this region. Concerning a 200-year-old strategy of extending a U.S. sphere of influence across the Americas, Liu objected to the description made by Richardson and a rising number of U.S. officials and lawmakers who see Chinese gains in the Western Hemisphere as an inherent threat. He argued that confident Americans should remove their rose-colored glasses, renounce the archaic Monroe Doctrine and Cold War mindset, stops distributing false information about China, stops pressuring countries in Latin America to take sides and stop fostering friction between China and the region. The alleged military relationship. Although the most visible flashpoint is still hundreds of miles from American shores, surrounding the disputed island of Taiwan, which also happens to be the world's top producer of semiconductors, Beijing and Washington are engaged in a military arms race. Chinese authorities have also long expressed alarm over American efforts to uphold and broaden security alliances and collaborations throughout the INDOPACOM region of concern, which includes China's borders. Senior Air Force commanders recently praised the United States' exceptional ability to overcome what they often regard as the tyranny of distance to support missions far from the U.S. mainland, interviews Newsweek. Richardson contends that China has now succeeded in forging its path to projecting global influence by pursuing new alliances. At the same time, the People's Liberation Army pursues a simultaneous historic expansion and modernization endeavor. Richardson stated that given mainland China's recent nuclear and conventional military development, you have to ask yourself, why such the investment in critical infrastructure across the globe? She continued, my concern is the dual uses potential to switch to a military application. As a military commander and commander of SOUTHCOM, my biggest concern is that they have already gotten their hooks into the critical infrastructure. According to Richardson, China is our #1 pacing challenge in the Department of Defense, echoing what General Mike Minahan, the head of Air Mobility Command, recently told Newsweek. In the SOUTHCOM region, she continued, proximity matters. Richardson says they are in the Caribbean, Central America, and South America. But all these nations, with the exception of Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua, wish to collaborate with the U.S. Although we are the preferred partner, we are not always available when it counts. Richardson stated that SOUTHCOM is encouraging allies in the area to join Team USA to push forward the democratic agenda for a free, secure, and prosperous Western Hemisphere to win this battle of influence that is taking place much closer to home than the US is used to competing on this scale. She continued that we're trying to get after it as quickly as we can and get this economic investment to the beachhead.